Maybe Rams should just always play on the road. Where we have the angel and the devil on our shoulder being like, do this, and the devil's like, no, you should do that. And it might not necessarily be good or bad. It's just kind of, you know, which one's right, which one's wrong, which one's right for me in the moment, which one's wrong for me in the moment. And so it's a decision song.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, about a boy. But
I was gonna say, what kind of decision? Is it all about like one big decision, or is it little decisions?
It's a decision about, you know, should I go hang out with this guy or not?
I already want to know what happens up ahead.
Yeah.
Do you decide to go?
I'm not sure.
I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Double backseat. For 한 사람인 John.
And even in that situation, you'd be able to say, but that doesn't happen.
Right. Oh, and that happened in San Pedro. I'm never there. This situation.
Yeah, in this case, it's beyond the fact that nobody would have thought, security-wise, nobody would have thought somebody would have perched in the 32nd floor room and basically in a sniper's nest shot across the street at a music festival. And second, that we would not be able to find any history of mental illness outside of, you know, the genetics thing, because his dad was a crazy...
It's just a power.
Something underneath. That his dad was crazy to begin with. But he's just a video poker guy. He's just a guy who's made money in real estate.
And we are all, everybody that was at that concert, who hasn't gone to a music festival or a concert in Vegas? That is all of us. That is all of our kids. It's terrifying that there's a lack of answers about the why this place, why this time.
It's almost as if you said it's a defense mechanism. I think that's a great way to put it, because if we have something to hold on to, we can say, well, I'm going to avoid that kind of person in the future, or not put myself in that kind of a position to be a victim. But we're left with this vast, wide open landscape with no buildings around, like nothing to hang on to, nothing to say that is a thing to avoid. So we're just grabbing at anything we can to try to build this guy's moment.
And I wonder if that was part of his motive.
To stay clean like that, if that's the right word?
Yeah, because it's almost a continuation of that terror. To not know why he did what he did. It makes him unique, because we don't get these. We don't get these guys that commit these acts without a manifesto or a YouTube tirade. It just doesn't happen. He's unique in that way.
All right, we come back. We'll talk about this Washington Post 60 Minutes expose on the opioid crisis and update you on what the president is saying that he's going to do in terms of trying to combat this horrific opioid crisis that has gripped the United States.
Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 640, Julie Slater, what's up? Firefighters are working to put out a brush fire near the Mount Wilson Observatory. People who work at the observatory have been evacuated from the place. The fire was reported about 4:45 a.m. and has burned between 25 and 30 acres. Firefighters are getting closer to snuffing out the massive wildfires across the northern California wine country. The fire that killed the most people is more than 75% contained. The winds have died down and rain is expected later this week. Several major evacuation orders were lifted yesterday, including for Geyserville, Sonoma, and parts of Santa Rosa. The fires have killed at least 41 people. 80 people were still unaccounted for this morning. News brought to you by SoCal Plumbers 911. People in the Harbor City area say they saw a 16-year-old's mom running in the streets screaming for help after her son was fatally shot. Police say people scattered last night when they heard multiple gunshots near an apartment complex. The 16-year-old boy died at the hospital. Officials say they're looking into a possible gang connection. Some witnesses were reluctant to talk to cops. The Long Beach City Council is set to vote on phasing out styrofoam. Small businesses would have 15 months before a full ban takes effect. Restaurant owners say it could be cost prohibitive to switch to plastic or recycled takeout containers, but a council member says an environmentally responsible coastal city like Long Beach needs to fight back against litter and blight. The city council vote is set for tonight. Last week was a busy one for drug busts along the southern border. In just one day, federal agents seized almost $2 million worth of cocaine, heroin, and meth. Border Patrol found 32 packs of meth in the gas tank of a young woman's car last night at the San Ysidro port of entry. The meth weighed 88 pounds. Another car searched the same day turned up 52 pounds of meth, also inside a gas tank. U.S.-backed troops fighting ISIS in Syria say they've captured the final terrorist stronghold in the group's de facto capital, Raqqa. U.S. Colonel Ryan Dillon says the Kurdish-led troops have some more work ahead to secure the city before folks can go back home.
About 10 families, while trying to go back to their homes, have also triggered these mines and these explosives. So that is the very real threat.
Raqqa was the last major city ISIS had left. The fight for Raqqa began in June. Officials have warned that winning the battle for ISIS territory is not the same as winning the battle against ISIS. The group can still plan attacks and inspire would-be terrorists. Kensington Palace says the Duchess of Cambridge, otherwise known as the former Kate Middleton, is expecting her third child in April. The announcement the Duchess was pregnant was made about 6 weeks ago. We've got traffic from your helpful SoCal Honda Traffic Center. An overturned car in Pomona on the 60.
It's on the 60 eastbound, just past the 71. The carpool and left lanes are both blocked while the CHP tries to move this thing out of the way. Checking out the SoCal Honda traffic cameras, busy from Phillips Ranch Road because of that. Mid-City LA, 10 westbound at La Cienega Boulevard. Earlier crash wrapping up off to the right, Slow and Go Drive coming out of downtown LA all the way through Mid-City. Anaheim, 5 southbound at Disneyland Drive. An accident clearing out of the far right lane. Not a bad slowdown, but it's just kind of tight there from Brookhurst on the 5 southbound. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Rosie Riddell.
Hey, it's Justin for Next Advanced Medicine. Do you have diabetes? Did you know that if you have the disease, it's quite likely you could die from the disease? If you have it and knew it could be reversed, wouldn't you want to do that? Then you need to get to the Diabetes Lunch Seminar Saturday, October 28th in Ontario, offered by Next Advanced Medicine at MDDC Practice. Bill Handel's brother-in-law Steve and my father were both diabetic, are now no longer diabetic. My dad was diabetic for 10 years, losing his eyesight on 5 different medications, and in less than 3 months, no longer diabetic, off all meds, eyes are great. Steve, diabetic for more than 10 years, and in just over 2 months, no longer diabetic, dropped almost all of his medications, not even halfway through the program. Why aren't you reversing your diabetes today? Would you like to keep your limbs, eyesight, and kidneys working? Then get to the free Diabetes Lunch Seminar Saturday, October 28th in Ontario. I will be there. On your cell phone, dial pound 250 and use the keyword diabetes. That's pound 250 on your cell and just say diabetes.
SoCal weather from KFI. Partly cloudy today. Highs from the upper 70s to mid-80s at the beaches. Lower to mid-90s inland. Up to 100 in the valleys in the IE. Tonight, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower to mid-60s. We cool down each day until Saturday, and then it's another heat wave. It's 67 in Fountain Valley, 76 in Baldwin Park, 71 in Fullerton, and then 76 in West Covina. We lead local from KFI's 24-hour newsroom. I'm Julie Slater.
Excel Laser Vision and Dr. Musa have been here on KFI for over 13 years. Hard to believe I've been telling you about him and Excel Laser Vision for that long. And thousands of KFI listeners have gone to Dr. Musa based on my recommendation, and I thank you for that, and always with great results. Harvard Medical School, of course, superb credentials, tens of thousands of procedures, and then the issue is affordability. Can you afford Dr. Musa? Well, here is his offer. $1,000 off conventional LASIK when doing both eyes. The normal price is $3,500 for both eyes. This is $2,500 for both eyes. Now, certain restrictions apply. The offer is good until October 31st. Call 866-92-EXCEL. Schedule your free comprehensive LASIK exam. 866-92-EXCEL. 866-92-EXCEL. Excel Eye, as in your eyes, exceleye.com. Call 866-92-EXCEL.
Hi, it's Mark Thompson. There are more success stories from the only firm that I recommend to solve your tax problem, Tax Rescue Group. A KFI listener who's self-employed, they've fallen way behind, just over $49,000 to the IRS. They were able to settle for $100 from $49,000. And that listener closed his business. Now he's going back into business. Another self-employed KFI listener, this is a realtor, they were able to settle their past due taxes of just over $67,000 for exactly $1,008, from $67,000 to $1,008. Now you're saying, how is that possible? Well, the Tax Rescue Group used a clause in the IRS code called offer and compromise. Ask them about it when you contact them. I've talked about Tax Rescue Group for years. They are capable, they are reputable. I want you to reach out to them because tax liens, levies, garnishments, and unfiled returns are like ticking time bombs. Let's get this stuff handled. 888-241-5757. 888-241-5757. That's 888-241-5757. Or go to taxrescuegroup.com.
Are you paying too much for auto insurance? Visit AAA.com/insurance for a free quote and find out how much you could save. Find competitive rates on auto insurance through the Auto Club. Visit AAA.com/insurance today.
When it comes to security screens, blinds, and shutters, I'm Winston with a Y.
I'm taking phone calls right now for Handle on the Law. Marginal legal advice until the top of the hour. Call 877-520-1150. 877-520-1150.
It's the 3rd annual birthday bash at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Saturday, October 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. at Vibe Nightclub. Come hang with me and the whole crew. Live band, magician, food from tacos and tequila, and prizes. There's limited space, so don't miss out. To sign up, go to KFIAM640.com, keyword Morongo or Conway birthday. See you, Morongo. KFI.
An iHeart radio station.
Friday, December 8th, that is the 7th annual KFI Pastathon to benefit Katarina's Club. You want to put that on your calendar now. And also, if you're one of those groups that likes to gather stuff, now you can start doing so. And all of the information is going to be up on the website. If you go to KFIAM640.com, use the keyword Pastathon. Again, Friday, December 8th. And it's not at the White House restaurant this year because obviously burned down and they're rebuilding it. But it's going to be at Christ Cathedral in Garden Grove, so we can get a lot of traffic through there. Chef Bruno is now feeding more than 3,300 kids 5 nights a week here in Southern California. Remember, of course, 100% of that donation goes to Katarina's Club. No administration fees will be taken out. Calendar again, Friday, December 8th for this year's Pastathon.
In the past 20 years, about 200,000 people have died from the opioid overdose epidemic. I don't like numbers on the radio, but let's just sit on that for a minute. 20 years, 200,000 people have died from opioid overdoses. On Sunday night, 60 Minutes and the Washington Post put to broadcast their investigation about this. And it is so disgusting. It's not shocking. It's not a surprise, but it's disgusting how Congress and the drug companies made this possible.
If there's ever any question about whether or not the drug companies, pharmaceuticals, are some of the most powerful entities in the United States, and arguably more powerful than Congress, this was a great article, a great story that proved that. Now, one of the guys that they talked to is a former DEA Deputy Assistant Administrator, a guy named Joe Ranazizi. And Joe's job was to regulate and investigate the pharmaceutical industry on behalf of the Drug Enforcement Administration.
And if the Drug Enforcement Administration is allowed to do its job correctly, this would not have blown up the way that it blew up. But he was handcuffed. The DEA was handcuffed by who? Oh, Congress. The drug companies poured $102 million into lawmakers' pockets in 2 years, while a piece of legislation making it easier to get opioids was working its way through Capitol Hill.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the Ensuring Patient Access and Effective Drug Enforcement Act of 2016. That sounds very nice. I mean, it sounds like it's...
Except there's no enforcement. That is very misleading.
Yeah, listen to what Joe Ranazizi says about this.
This is an industry that's out of control. What they want to do is do what they want to do and not worry about what the law is. And if they don't follow the law in drug supply, people die. That's just it. People die.
Now, this guy, he's not an idiot, by the way. This guy has a pharmacy degree. He has a law degree. And he says his greatest anger is targeted towards the distributors of drugs, some of them multi-billion-dollar companies.
They knew exactly what they were doing. They were funneling drugs upon drugs to these shady pain clinics that would pop up in strip malls. And under the roofs of these shady pain clinics were shady doctors and pharmacists that were just writing these prescriptions willy-nilly. And who was getting fat off of it? The members of Congress and the drug companies.
Well, and
while people were dying in communities, and they knew people were dying, by the way. They knew what was happening, but they still kept green-lighting the drugs to flow through the communities.
And for two reasons. Number one, I think they believed that only druggies, I don't know if that's, I'm trying to say the right word, only down-and-out losers would overdose on drugs.
But they saw...
And second, that the money that they were getting from the drug companies clouded their thinking.
Right, but the thing is they knew it wasn't just the druggies and the people that are drug users on the street, because they saw the numbers. They saw their bank accounts. They saw everything expand, and they had to realize that normal people, everyday Americans, were relying way too much on this drug that they were way too happy to blanket communities with.
Well, a couple of senators have come out and said, listen, we've got to change this. In fact, Claire McCaskill introduced the bill yesterday to repeal last year's Ensuring Patient Access and Effective Drug Enforcement Act. But when you talk to people like Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, she said she was one of the authors of the bill. If there are any unintended consequences, then they should be addressed immediately. Senator Orrin Hatch,
listen to this.
He defended the law, okay, including $177,000 in donations that he got from the drug industry while he was pushing it through. Now, that's not unusual. It's not that he stands out as accepting money while no one else did. It's not just that he's a Republican. Democrats do this as well.
But this is his response to that. My campaigns run about $10 million, and frankly, I don't know who contributes to it at all.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
And if you're a member of the United States Senate, you have enough people at your beck and call to task one of them with a daily update. Hey, did we get any large-scale donations? Not from Ma and Pa Bergstrom, but maybe somebody called Pharma Family or something like that, or maybe Big Drug Incorporated. Maybe that would be a good idea for you to let me know these things.
And the fact that they're saying, oh, we didn't even know where the money came from, where our campaign dollars came from, is baloney. Because like I mentioned earlier, in the 2 years that this piece of legislation was weaving its way through Capitol Hill to get passed, $102 million in 2 years to these legislators just appears. Of course they knew what they were doing. And this law, this piece of legislation, actually made it easier for the drugs to get into the communities because it handcuffed the DEA. It said, you don't really have a job anymore. You don't get to enforce it. You don't get to go after phony doctors and shady pharmacists and the whole bit. Well, and if legislators would have read the bill or had even an assistant read through the bill, they would have seen that, but they don't. They don't care. They just take the money in from the drug industry and they vote the way the drug industry wants them to vote. And who ends up dying? All the Americans.
All of them.
Well, not all of them, but 200,000 in 20 years.
Too many of them. Now, there is one small and somewhat flimsy defense to all of this for those members of Congress who did vote in favor of this.
I can't wait to hear it.
And this has changed the way the president has gone about this, because not only has he come out and said that he will make an official emergency declaration for the opioid crisis, the guy who was going to be the drug czar, the head of the DEA, has now decided that he will no longer be in the running, taking his name out of consideration. So we'll talk about that when we come back to Gary and Shannon.
Julie Slater, what's up?
The WNBA president says the San Antonio Stars have been bought by MGM Resorts International. The team will move to Vegas. Harvey Weinstein is on the cover of Variety magazine, hitting newsstands today. President Trump has fallen on the Forbes list of the wealthiest Americans. The president dropped by 92 spots to number 248 this year, and his estimated net worth dropped by $600 million to $3.1 billion. Trump tied with the 27-year-old co-founder of Snapchat. Bill Gates tops the list for the 24th consecutive year with a net worth of $89 billion. Trouble on the 5 and your weather next.
So we had friends over, I want to say Friday night, and just to kind of celebrate my wife's birthday. And all we did for the half an hour that we were there hanging out, we just stood in the kitchen. We didn't even sit down in the living room. We just stood in the kitchen. You know that that's where everyone gathers, regardless of what your house looks like or how big it is or small it is. The kitchen is the centerpiece, the heartbeat of your home. And if when you look at the kitchen, you think, you know what, I could do a little bit better. Reborn Cabinets. Reborn Cabinets give you a brand new looking kitchen with signature refacing in a process that takes about 3 days. I had my kitchen redone by Reborn last June, a year and a half ago, and it still looks fantastic. Plus, happy birthday to Vinny. Vinny Nardo is the founder of Reborn Cabinets. He's the guy who started it 30, 40 years ago. And in honor of Vinny's birthday here in October, Reborn is giving you 10% off your new kitchen or bath remodel, plus all the great financing options to go with it. So see what they can do for you. Go to one of their new showrooms, the one in Torrance or Lake Forest or San Diego, and the newly updated showroom in Anaheim is spectacular. Or give them a call, 888-2, Reborn, 888-273-2676. Turn your ordinary kitchen into extraordinary, like I did. RebornCabinets.com.
2 days till the Great California Shakeout. Prepare to survive and recover from the next damaging earthquake. Join millions in the largest earthquake drill in the world on October 19th at 10:19 a.m. Register at getpreparedcalifornia.org.
From the SoCal Edison Weather Center, partly cloudy, highs from the upper 70s to mid-80s at the beaches, lower 90s up to 100 inland. This report brought to you by California Earthquake Authority. Traffic from your helpful SoCal Honda Traffic Center, a crash in Burbank on the 5.
It's on the 5 southbound at Buena Vista. A couple of cars bumped into each other. The left lane there is blocked, busy from Hollywood Way. Echo Park, 101 northbound at Benton Way. Another report of a grass fire over to the right shoulder. The fire department just pulling up there, and looks like they're going to close the right lane. 101 northbound backed up from Cesar Chavez. Pomona, 60 eastbound at the 71. Car flipped over. The carpool and left lane both blocked at some messy drive from Phillips Ranch Road. This report is brought to you by IKEA. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Rosie Riddell.
When your Thanksgiving guests are welcome to stay the night, IKEA has got you covered. Because from October 18th to October 29th, select IKEA sleeper sofas are up to 20% off. Visit your IKEA store or IKEA.com for more details. IKEA, make the dream yours.
I'm taking phone calls right now for Handle on the Law. Marginal legal advice until the top of the hour. Call 877-520-1150. 877-520-1150.
Here's the number, $618,000. After his business fell on hard times, that's the amount of credit card and business debt a guy from Riverside had accumulated, and it was personally guaranteed. However, the expert legal team at Oak Tree Law was able to eliminate every penny and give him a fresh start.
A couple from Cerritos had a lien placed on their home for $247,000, and they had $485,000 of business credit card and medical debt. Oak Tree Law was able to eliminate that second mortgage completely and got every dollar of the debt forgiven. Absolutely life-changing.
What about one out of Ventura? Someone was stuck in a predatory loan. Oak Tree Law sued the lender, got a 2.25% interest rate and $9,000 to drop the suit.
Stop stressing about bad debt and give Oak Tree Law a call at 800-542-2949. 800-542-2949. An A+ rating with the BBB, and the consult is free, so you've got nothing to lose but bad debt. Call 800-542-2949. 800-542-2949.
Hey, remember the mortgage meltdown of 2008? Have you tried to get a mortgage since then and been turned down? Or maybe you haven't even tried because your credit score is stuck at 585, or your tax returns have too many write-offs. Well, Cash Call Mortgage has great news for you. We've just introduced programs for people who've been told no. And what's doubly exciting is that we can solve your mortgage problems with no closing costs, no points, title, escrow, and no fees.
Wait, Cash Call, are you saying you now have credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs? Are you kidding?
You heard right. A credit or income-solving loan with no closing costs. Call 877-890-CASH, and we'll work with you to solve your mortgage issues. Make the Cash Call at 877-890-CASH.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. Equal Housing Lender. Call 855-657-9910 for terms and restrictions. California Department of Business Oversight Residential Mortgage Lender. Law License 4131083. NMLS 128231.
That's 877-890-CASH.
The Summer Solaris Solar Blowout has been extended by popular demand. Get your 30% federal tax credit for 2017 with a complete solar system at the best possible price. Summer Solaris, a licensed solar and roofing contractor, installs panels from SunPower, an American company. The best panels and the best warranty on the planet. Summer Solaris is the only company offering the equivalent of the expired state solar rebate up to $3,000 and list savings up to $2,000 on a new roof. The 30% federal tax credit plus Summer Solaris will pay your electric bill for the rest of the year. That's up to $6,500 in savings. Now that's a solar supernova. Plus rated by the BDB, a SunPower elite dealer, and U.S. veteran-owned. They get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. The government can end the 30% solar tax credit at any time. Call now. 877-211-5591. 877-211-5591. Or visit SemperSolaris.com. Electric bill reimbursed up to a maximum of $500 from data purchase. Rebate is awarded after installation. Rates a discount off the system price 30%. Tax advisor, not approved credit. Maximum savings based on size of roof. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Stay on less by July 2017. DSW number 970.
Termites are swarming again. All the warm weather makes them swarm, and what they're doing is looking for a new home. They're looking to colonize, and you do not want that house to be yours. Pacific Coast Termite. I've been a customer of Pacific Coast Termite since they became Pacific Coast Termite. And they use orange oil and Ultraset, both very clean processes. And the magic here is no tinting, no moving out, no pet sitter. You don't have to double bag your food, which is a disaster. It's a nightmare. Call for a free termite inspection. And you want to do this because by the time you discover termites, there's already damage. Get a free termite inspection, and if you need their work, 10% off termite treatments. Call 800-PACIFIC, 800-PACIFIC, PacificCoastTermite.com. That's PacificCoastTermite.com, 800-PACIFIC. That's 800-PACIFIC, PacificCoastTermite.com.
We always used to like Pandora before they started interrupting the music over and over. We thought maybe we can do it better than Pandora with our iHeartRadio app. And now we have. Open iHeartRadio, type in an artist you love, and let iHeartRadio build you a station with all that artist's best music and songs we've handpicked to make you a perfect station. And with iHeartRadio, you get more music, fewer interruptions, and it's free. Try it today. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
I was in the car driving home, and my daughter said, "Hey, Daddy,
something wrong. She said, what have you done?
I said, no, stop pressing me. I haven't done anything wrong. I just nothing.
Tim Conway Jr. tonight at 6. KFI AM 640 for stimulating talk.
Conway had a spectacular interview with LA County Sheriff Jim McDonald last night.
Well, they're buddies.
Worth
So that's why it was so good.
worth the podcast.
That's why we couldn't do anything that good.
Because we're not friends.
Right.
We don't have any friends with badges.
Well, you have a reputation around the building, apparently.
But what's my reputation?
That you are an apple.
But that's like one person who